From Studio 3 at Buzz TV, it's The Horse's Mouth with Tom McManus.
All right, welcome into The Horse's Mouth here. Tommy Max, of course, at my bar, where everybody is welcome. You never know who's going to show up. Brought to you by our good friends at Foodie's Care. Coach Campo's here, and a special guest. He's never here, but he's here right now. Mike White, the founder and owner of Client Focused Media. Mike, what are you doing here? What's going on?
I hear you giving advice to all these people, thousands of people over the years, and I'm going through a hard time in my life, and I need some advice.
Really? You going through a hard time?
Hard time.
You never show it on your face. You're always so happy and smiling.
So I'm trying. As you know, I've got 3 amazing kids.
Yes.
All right, and you have daughters, right?
I do, 3.
I have a daughter who's 13, and she is starting to date, and I needed advice.
Oh.
Date at 13?
Exactly.
You know, the best advice you can teach your daughters is make sure your hair's up in a bun, and use the uppercut. That's the best advice, because it's the best punch that they can throw.
So you
but
you have a
aside
daughter?
from that,
I do.
You have a daughter, and she's
25.
25.
Yeah.
Do you have a daughter?
I've got a daughter, but she's 7.
Yeah.
She's saved?
Yeah.
3.
All right, so
3 daughters.
all right, guys. So
Okay.
I need some help, Tom.
Some advice: don't let them start at 13. That's number one. I never did. And that whatever. It all depends on what kind of restrictions you're going to put on there, right? Like, are they allowed in the room? Hell no, they're not allowed in the room. What would you have done? And so you know what you should think about? What would I have done at that age?
Well, that's
if
why
I
I'm
had
here,
access
because
to
I'm
these?
scared.
Yeah.
All right. So, ultimately, did you give the guy a talk or the daughters a talk? What was the talk?
Daughters always had the talk, and then they knew how to handle it from there.
So what did you say?
Oh gosh, what did I say? I said a lot of things. Right before high school was when they had the talk that they all, didn't want to hear, because it was about drinking, drugs, and boys. Right? You're going into high school, things change, and giving them advice on different things in education. So as far as guys came, all that I cared about was that they were good to them, nice to them, and that they really were respectful to mom. Yeah. Mom's the key, right? So how they treat mom is how they're probably going to treat their daughter. So, but my daughter's not a huge dating thing. I mean, they dated a few, guys here and there. My youngest, she hasn't dated at all. She, at least, not that I know of. They do say they were a little afraid to bring boys around. I got to be honest. And I was like,
I can see that.
I wasn't going to beat him up. I wasn't going to beat him up. I'll tell you a funny story. Do we got time for a funny story?
Yeah, plenty of time.
My oldest daughter comes home. And she's like, yeah, I'm dating. I got this boyfriend. She's in high school, and they're going into their senior year. So we said, bring him over. Yeah, bring the kid over. So he comes over. Kid comes in. He's like, he plays football, right? Transferring from Nice to Ponte Vedra. And he's like 6'3", 260. I mean, he's like, looks unbelievable. Like, I can't wait to see this kid in pads. And anyway, really nice kid, blah, blah, blah. They go off and yada, yada. So we go to the first game. It's Nice versus PV. And this kid comes out, and he's like, showboating, doing all this stuff. So me and my buddy Robbie were standing there on the top, of the bleachers, just kind of watching, like, watch this kid, man. Look how, man, he looks unbelievable, blah, blah, blah. Kid didn't make one play. Didn't make one play. I ended up, he didn't do anything. He didn't do anything the whole game. So the next morning I wake up and my daughter's standing there, and I creep up behind her, and I was like, I'm okay if you date a football player, but make sure they can actually play football. What kind of cream puff was it? Don't bring a cream puff home here again, that kind of stuff. So we always made a joke that his nickname was Cream Puff.
And that ended the relationship.
It was over after that.
So was your daughter on social media, or what's some advice you have? She's 26 now.
That was just coming around. But the biggest thing with me is I actually had an obstacle course that you would probably have loved. Had 45 obstacles on my property when she was growing up. So we worked out, we trained together.
Yeah.
So most of the guys that she ended up dating, which was only a few, had been there. So they were also scared of her father because I built the course and I could do the whole course, okay?
Right.
But the 2 biggest things I did was I had her make a list of what she would like in the guy she would want to marry. Put it on paper. Young. Do it young. Because they put these wild expectations. So that eliminates a lot of the dating. And then I just told her, don't waste your time on somebody that doesn't meet these qualifications. Secondly, I asked for her to trust me. Even though you're going to hate me, you're going to be mad at me when I tell you this guy is not right for you, there's just something about him. And she did. And actually, I never had to ask to talk to the young man because she made it a
You didn't have to use your muscle.
You had to talk to me.
You didn't have to use your muscle,
and
right?
This young guy, this young Army guy, he was older than her, and he had went into the Army, and he came to me and said, I have no idea why I'm doing this. Your daughter is 18 years old. And I said, you're doing it because that was her request, is that you speak to her father before you take her into your possession and go and take her on a date.
Yeah.
And we knew right away that one wasn't going to last. So,
I will say this. I think the number one relationship with girl, and no disrespect to the moms out there because they're very important, but they got to know that daddy loves them. If they know daddy loves them, they don't go looking for love. Yeah. You know, because when they look for love, they look for it in the wrong places, and it ends up not being too good.
What about the father talk? So if you've got a 13-year-old son, what kind of conversation would you have with him?
Oh, good one. Good one.
Oh,
I'd have a lot.
No, actually,
that was easy.
So, I'm in a similar situation to Mike. I have a 13-year-old son who is starting to date now.
Okay.
And we're using the term dating loosely, right? It's 13. It's not crazy.
You can't call it a play date anymore.
Exactly, right? I actually did as a joke with my wife the other day. I was like, "Are they doing a play date?"
Right.
That's the goal.
Yeah.
But we talked about boundaries. I don't care if you call it she's your girlfriend, if you're dating, if you're going steady, if you're just talking. The titles aren't as important as the boundaries that you are setting up.
Yeah.
And so making sure you're clear on those was the first part of our conversation. And so we talked about physicality, like what's appropriate, what's not. Mm-hmm. We talked about your surroundings. So really, you're never alone, okay? You're not in, you're with a group. You're staying with your group. If you lose your group, find a new group because you're not allowed to be alone. Yeah. Because that's the danger spot, right? No doubt. Because, kids in group tend to get dumber instead of smarter. So, diminishing returns, what is that? That's the conversation that I've been having with my 13-year-old as he's starting down this road.
Yeah. Having boys, I couldn't imagine, I mean, the way I was raised, it was tough love. It was behave or dad's going to kick your ass, you just like, I'm going to behave because I don't want to feel that,
I was sitting at home, my daughter came home and said, I have this guy I'm dating, and the father had to say yes, and she came excited after months of talking to this guy and says, the dad says he can date. And I said, you're not allowed to kiss until you're at least 18, 19. She said, I don't want anything to do with that. We're going to take it very slow. So first year and a half, we're going to hold hands. Then after that, we're going to hug. And not until I'm married. I said, that's perfect. But,
okay.
Sure. But any parting advice, because it's his son dating my daughter.
Oh, no kidding. That's
this is the first time we have ever met today.
Is that unbelievable?
But you just met today? Seriously?
Today for the first time.
Because of this?
Yeah.
That is too funny.
I needed protection. I needed somebody to scare him. What should I say? But on a positive note, the kids are in karate together. His wife teaches karate there. They go to Church of 1122 together.
That's great. That's my son's church as well.
Such a good kid, and had the opportunity the last couple months just seeing him, how he interacts, and it's just a good quality kid. But it's a new time in my life. Her first and only boyfriend was a guy she met on a cruise ship that they never met after the cruise, and they would talk, and that was perfect.
Yes.
But now it's coming local. But I appreciate having someone that has the conversations on how to respect
for sure.
a woman, how to respect, and here's the boundaries. So, so it's exciting, and I appreciate it.
See what the horse's mouth does here, Coach?
Absolutely, and I can just add one thing. With the girls, patience is a virtue. Because it's not just about the dating, it's everything that goes on when they're 13 years old, believe me.
Well, thank you.
Drama's just going to be part of your life, because that's what it is. It's, especially if they're involved in dance. We have 3 in dance, they're all different ages, but I've had the same conversations for about 2 decades over drama at dance. So there's always drama with the young girls. Well, I'm glad you two met.
I know I can get good advice from people I respect and admire. Yes. And if it turns sour, I had protection.
Well, enjoy the companionship. All right, and best of luck. Thanks for being here, guys. All right, you can catch this conversation and many, many others. Just go to dailynewsnetwork.com website, and you'll see it all there. Until next time, stay safe, be cool out there, and wait till they're about 15, 16, and maybe you can let them in. I don't know. We'll see about that. We'll see you next time right here on The Horse's Mouth. Cheers.
Cheers.
Foodies Care is a nonprofit organization here started in Jacksonville, Florida. Our mission is to support other nonprofits realize and carry out their missions. We're trying to simplify that process to have a local body that's here on the ground and says, listen, we're going to work with you, we're going to partner with you, we're going to give you the resources that you need to be able to do the work that is needed in this community.